Hello and welcome back. I thought we'd just have a quick look over this diesel shunter I've got here. Let's just give that a little bit of power. It's one my son and I worked on a long time ago. Originally when we got it from the model railway shop, it was painted up in blue, and we used a product called model strip to take away the blue paint, and we did renumber it, sorry. The numbers didn't survive the model strip, and the part of the decals did, but they're not complete. We'll have a look at those in a moment. Let's just give that a little bit more power, so it will sort of really wind up. So I've ended up with time off work this week. I wasn't thinking I was going to have time to do the elevated section, but I've got some parts printed and a little bit of progress has been made, but due to being sort of under the weather, I haven't had the concentration really. But I think we'll break from this and we'll just have a quick look over the bodywork. If we have a look on the inside, if we get that up to camera, hopefully I've got that in focus. That says made in England there. And if I turn this around, again, let's see if we can, where my finger's pointing here. So we've got focus there, we've got Triang, and we've got model number R.152, and then a -4. 152 was the electric model, and 154 was the clockwork model. So the same basic body moulding would have been used, although there would have been provision to have a key in the side of it, perhaps, maybe there. I'm not quite sure. I have got the primary one, a very beaten up one somewhere, but it's buried in a box. We'll perhaps have a look at it another day. So the primary one was early 60s, and I think the black clockwork one was 57 to 59. There are some sort of broken bits there. Let's try and keep that in focus on the front of on the front of the bonnet here. I think that's part of the ladder detail there, where it comes over there, is chipped away. Buffers are intact. And say when that stuff we used, model strip, to take away the blue paint that was on it, and the hazard black and red hazard stripes on the back. It left the decal, the original decals. They must have just painted over, but they did take the numbers away. I think they'd made some effort to get the numbers off. So we put those back on with like press fix numbers. They're quite successful. There is definitely a split in the back there, and I have fixed that. If we have a look on the inside, I don't know whether we can see, I have sort of fixed some stuff in there, some plastic, so just so we can secure the screw through there, so it can the body sits at the right height on the chassis. Well, what I think is the right height on the chassis. So all at steps, which is quite impressive for one of these, especially if it's been knocked around. That decal did lose part there, so when the paint came away, that was gone. So I wasn't really expecting to find them at all, so I didn't think I'd sort of remove that. I thought I'd just leave them like that, and that's how they'll be. So I think quite a good model. I should really use this on the railway for track cleaning and so on now, rather than that blue one. I think this one will fit the part quite nicely. But let's have a quick look at the chassis here. So securing screw goes through. Let's see if we can get some focus here. It's convinced it wants to focus somewhere else. There we go. So securing screw goes straight through the back of the cab where we were just looking, and into there. So that's an adjustable plate. So I think these chassis could be used on a number of other models. So motors in fairly tidy condition. I think it's all fairly original. And when it came out of storage this week, I did have to resolder that joint there for the brush. So there's a little tab that goes in there. As I was cleaning it, it just came away in my hand. So a dry solder joint, and it just popped straight off. But that didn't take long to clean up. So a light oil, and it runs fairly nice as we've just seen. So let's have a quick look down that other side of it there. So I think we'll just get this back together. Topple back on. So I think these were in black 1956 to 58, and they changed to green, possibly 2 shades of green available, and then in late 60s turn into blue, like that one we've had knocking around on the railway for a while. I've been using for track cleaning, and the clockwork, the black clockwork one, showed up, I think, after the electric one became available. I think that was 57 till 59, and then the primary series coming along in 1960 with the maroon variant. I do have that maroon one, a rather beaten version of it, but it's buried away. So that screw there is very large, but the hole has become larger over the years in the back of the model there. So that's just to help keep it in the right place with that little bit of plastic I've taped in the back there. One other thing I noticed was that somebody's cut away the edge of that collection plate. I don't know whether that's an original sort of factory modification or whether somebody's found that necessary to do that in the past, but I think it's a terrific thing. We're definitely going to have this in use on the railway for a while. So I think I'd just got the sidewalls onto here in last week's video, but throughout the week I've managed to get them to grow across here, and all of this stuff has now gone in and secure, and we've got these curves in here. That's all set up and the points in place, motors all serviced, points semi-serviced. I think there's a little bit of work to do with that, and I've got some extra pieces made to address this situation where we're going to get the platform in and so on. So these curved sidewalls here just sitting waiting to go in, they just need a bit of a clean. So ideally I'll get those done a bit later on. We'll get those on. So I'm not pointing in the right direction, get those on there. But I've got this locomotive ready to go with the wagons, and we'll give that a run round. I hope it all sounds good in my head. It's all good in my head, thinking it'll come all the way around and up that elevated section. I'm thinking possibly some wheel slip because we don't have any magnet adhesion, but we'll have a look. So a couple of things, other prints have been made. So it's been relatively busy whilst I haven't had the concentration to do many things. A bit of drawing's gone on, a bit of printing. There's another one just come off. That's released. That's cooled down and released now. So that one's come off. So we've got things underway, and but having had several days off because of illness, then you have to catch up with everything. So I'm expecting even less time available next week. Let's grab the controls. They're hiding down here. So let's grab those and let's see if we can get this locomotive to run around. Let's give that some power, see if we can get the controls in the shot. And ideally that's going to come through those points, past the controllers. And it's going to run around the inside line. Let's come down here. Past the boxes. Those are the boxes a couple of boxes for the wagons there. Perhaps we'll have a look at those a little later on. So that should pass through onto the outside line now and through the tunnel. And then through those points. Now ideally, that's going to climb. Whoops, I just knocked something off behind me. Little wheel slip, yeah, just there, and it levels out. All looking quite good. So we don't want to run this off the end of the line. So we'll just stop that there. Let's just plop that there and then see what fell on the floor. So, yeah, reel of cable. Let's deal with that. So put that back there where it belongs. So I think that was quite successful. Let's just back that up a little now and see how we do. A little bit of a squeak coming from the locomotive. I think it might be one of the wipers on the back of the wheel. But I think if we leave those there, we'll have a quick look over the wagons, and I'll get those sidewalls cleaned and back in, and we'll jump the other side of the railway, and we'll bring this lot down back onto level ground. Two of the wagons have their original boxes. Let's just have a look at this shell lubricating wagon. Let's have a quick glance at the end of the box here. So we've got the information there, R.211. So I think these are available sort of 1956 to 68 in various guises. I think this is an earlyish one, as it has the tank in 3 parts. So fairly tidy condition. And I think the writing on here is like a water slide type transfer or similar. I don't think it's heat printed on. I think, can I get that? Keep that in focus. So let's have a look down the other side of it. So the axle boxes are open. So later variants would have had the plastic chassis and the tension lock style couplings. So my stomach's making a dreadful noise now. So I've sort of gone a bit hungry. So it's sort of mid-afternoon. So we've got the earlier style sort of open Mark II couplings there. So we'll pop that one down. We might as well have a look at the petrol tank. So it's got a shell on the one side and then BP on the other, and that lovely thick red paint along the sole bar there. So let's just turn that over and have a look at the other side again. A similar type of transfer tank made up in the 3 sections there by the looks of it. So let's have a look at the box. I'll put it down before we drop it. Tank wagon, you can just see there sort of R12 under the lovely thick sellotape. Let's see if it's a bit more legible on the other side here. Yeah, it's printed on it that way up, isn't it? Rubber stamped the wrong way up for the rest of the printing on the box, but still quite lovely things to have the boxes. Of course, completely unnecessary. You just really need the wagon. So they're quite a splendid thing. So I think they made variants of this from 54 through to about I can't read my notes, 71 it says there, so early 70s. So the variations on this, so this would have got the old plastic chassis in the end, tension lock couplings, and the tank would have been made up in the one part. So if we just pop that one down, and this is a slightly later variant of the shell lubricating wagon, and the tank is made up in all one part now. I think the cap is separately fitted, but it's still got like a water slide type of transfer on there. I don't know whether you can see it, or that type of thing, rather than heat printing. I think later on they went to heat printed, or it's sort of applied directly to the plastic and left a slight marking in the plastic. So yeah, I think these are nice rivets along the edge of the tank there. Do we have those on the earlier one? I don't think we do. No, so we've gained some rivet detail around the edge of the tank that we didn't have on that first one. And that I think that cap there is part of the central part of the moulding for this tank wagon. So as these caps are separately fitted, and they very often go missing or something. I should have a go at 3D printing. I do have a few which are missing. So let's pop that down. We'll just have a quick glance at the other shell BP tank wagon there. So transfers have suffered a little bit more on that one over the years. And that one's not looking too bad on that side, but really quite pretty things. It's a lovely thick red paint being applied to that. So yeah, we'll pop that down and have a look at this gorgeous brake van. So R16, they made these from 53 to 67 in a couple of different colours, I think. So they dropped the NE on the sides, and at some point, I can't remember when that was, but I think the earlier ones had NE, had numbers, not numbers, letters on the sides of them, and there's a variety of running numbers. And this one looks to be the acetate again, so look, plenty of warping in there. Oops, we just lost some focus there. See the edge of that's probably got a little bit chipped off it there, but I think that edge is very, very wavy. But I do quite like these acetate models, and it also has the running boards clipped on. So later variants, plastic chassis obviously came later in the 60s, but there was a metal chassis with a different base, I think. This one's just got a clip-on sort of tin plate running boards on the side. So quite quite lovely things. We're the other side of the railway now, so locomotive sitting up there. So I've just got these sidewalls installed, give them a quick wash. Got those two sets of large radius sidewalls in there, and then a couple of other pieces that I've been working on. We've got these standing in, so we've got some track work there, so you can see how where the platform's eventually going to go in there. So they're just stood in, they're not really fixed, so they're all a bit wobbly at the moment. They need the bases need gluing down. This one, this isn't. The support for this is probably not going to span under that part. I don't think it is. I'm in two minds. That piece of track there is an extra long piece of Super 3. It's Super 4, made into a Series 3 piece here. So just so I can get the track joints level at that point, which will make using the sidewalls easier going down the side of the station. That was my thinking anyway. But to get the width, I've got a piece in here, so there's going to be some cut pieces and around the points as well. We'll have a look at that in a moment. I'm quite pleased with how that's progressing. So let's get the locomotive along there and see if we can have a quick look at that in action. So let's give that a little bit of power. So let's see if we get a stall on these points. There we go. So let's send that backwards now. So I'll better get a train in down both sides of the platform. Let's reach over. Obviously we're going to get this electrified. So running the cabling through here, I'm going to go down one of these supports wherever I got the cabling. Let's just pan around here for a moment. So the cabling here, I've gone for a slightly lighter gauge of cable for that because it'd be easier to hide just for a short distance. The rest of the cabling will be a bit heavier weight underneath the board. That's the cables you saw falling on the floor. It's a 7-strand. So let's see if we can bring this through into this other line and see how we do with that. Yeah, I'm looking forward to having a station there. So obviously it brings with it problems, track cleaning and so on, things getting stuck. Let's go backwards there. But then, you know, it's all a bit of fun. Let's see if we can follow this down. I know from the distance we viewed this before, we couldn't really see whether there was any significant wheel slip. So let's give picking up speed there. Let's see if we've got wheel slip here. Let's do a standing start on there. Let's have a look at those wheels. Not too bad. Let's go back again. Let's try it in the curve. So everything is on the incline there. There's nothing on level ground. So it's all ready. Let's give that some power. So that's not too bad. They're not the lightest of wagons to pull. They're very deep flanges. Sleeved wheels on metal axles. Let's bring this down on level ground and see how we do running backwards. Through the rubber tunnel, through the double set of points. Not too bad. Let's just bring this around behind the controller, I think. Whoops, got too busy looking at the brightly coloured wagon there and missing the locomotive. So we'll bring that to a stop there. Oh, and I've put some Velcro pads on the back of here. I've been experimenting with that. It seems to work quite well. So here I've got a dead point. Well, it's dead, it hasn't been cleaned, rather rusty. So I'm just looking for some, get a sidewall down the side of there, but where that goes in, that's going to interfere with the connection tab, or the thing that supplies power from the outside rail. Laughingly, we say supplies power from the outside rail to the switchblade, or the switch rail. So I think what I need is a broken one. I'm going to find another way of supporting it. I found in this pile of ones here, I've got one broken at the right end. Look, that's been glued in the past, doesn't it? So we'll get that on there. Let's come around the other side and down this end. So I'm going to need a short piece there, I think. So again, I've got a bent one there, which I don't think will ever go straight. So I think trimming that one out there might work quite nicely for that. So all things sort of in the planning stages, and just seeing how we go. It's sort of, very much trial and error. I don't know how this stuff's going to go together. I don't know how it's going to work until I put these supports up. There's sort of modifications going on. So I'm looking forward to that. So there's going to be some alterations. I'm going to have a play with this in the next few days and see how we do with the platforms and stuff. But I think those supports are going to be quite successful there, so with that little overhang. So otherwise the longer ones I had are going to be too close to the curvatures in here for wagons and locomotives going through. But let's give this train a little more power. Let's shut up a point so we don't go back. Let's have a quick look around here. So I want to close. I've gone the long way around that one. So let's close that one. Let's make that one straight. There we go. And let's just give this one more go around. And I think that's probably going to be it for today. Let's grab hold of that. Let's see if we can just get a couple of nice shots of that going around. I don't think I left any hazards. Definitely looks the part, this diesel shunter. But thanks again for watching. If you look back again next time, we'll see if we've made any more progress with the elevated section. And we'll see if, a little bit of a stutter there, we'll see if we can have something else to play with on the railway. Goodbye now.